Good evening and welcome to my extra Facebook Live this evening. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Brackley in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you for joining me this evening. I don't normally pop on a Wednesday evening, but it is the 30th of November. I knew you said June. It's the 30th of November, and as from tomorrow, the 1st of December, the retiring list from Stampin' Up for this particular mini catalogue, which is the July to December catalogue, is released. And it means basically there is a list of the items that are retiring from this catalogue. So in other words, they are being withdrawn from sale at the end of the year in line with the catalogue, and it's unlikely that they will reappear, certainly in the same format. There are some carryover items which will be carried forward through to the next mini catalogue. So they may not be printed in the next mini catalogue, but they will be available until the end of April. So I have a separate list for that, but what I've done to make my life easier and that of people at my classes and Class in a Box is I've gone through the catalogue. I've basically transposed the information from this very long small print spreadsheet onto the catalogue, and I've marked up the details on there where there are discounts, and also where the items are retiring but there's not necessarily a discount, if that makes any sense. Not sure it does. So I'm just going to go through the catalogue one page at a time fairly swiftly, really just to highlight to you the retiring items, because a lot of the items are discounted to 60%, 60, and so that's definitely worth having, especially if you want to stock up, for example, on Christmas papers ready for next year, or if you haven't done your Christmas cards for this year, it's a great opportunity to get them at a discounted price. What I would say is that some of the items will sell out very quickly. Hi Catherine. So don't delay in ordering. If you normally order online, then that is by far the quickest and safest way to order to guarantee you can get the products. But if you normally order through me, you can send me an email and I'll be ordering, not necessarily every day. I will have an order going in late this evening, so hopefully everything will still be available when I place that order. So let's pop through, let's get through to the starting pages. So we have the Sweetest Christmas Suite, and I can confirm that the Candy Canes bundle and the banners are retiring. The red and the white glimmer paper is retiring, and the papers are retiring, but the red ribbon and the sequins are carrying over. The glimmer paper is reduced to £1.90, and the Christmas papers are reduced to £4.50. And I appreciate you can't read my writing on here because I've written it on the right hand side, but I would recommend you have a pen and paper handy or your catalogue handy, and then you can mark anything up that's of interest as we go along. So that is the Sweetest Christmas. So when Stampin' Up retire items, the bundles automatically retire, and the stamp set and the dies may have reduced prices against them individually. So the sweet candy canes is now £12.60. That's this stamp set here that you can see on the left. And the dies are £13.20. So you can have the stamps and the dies for £25.80. I just need to stop Cassie doing something. Bear with me. Cassie, don't dig that out, please. Sorry about that. Digging up the cat's bed. So this set of dies has a really nice large background die with stripes on it. So that was, I know that was quite popular, even if you didn't have the stamp set itself. And obviously you can cut candy canes out of any striped paper. And then we have the Christmas banners. That stamp set is now £17.60. And the banner dies are £12.40. Now these banners with coordinating dies you could use really with any sentiments anyway, but obviously you've got Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Christmas wishes, season's greetings, just for you, and you've got some holly and some berries, so that's a really good selection as a Christmas set. And banners you could use at any time, definitely. Okay, that's page 11. Now we're on to page 12, and we have this fun stamp set called Spruced Up. So it's got 4 fairly bold images. You've got a bauble, a tree, another bauble and another tree, a smaller one, and a snowflake. This is now only £6.80, reduced from £17. And the reason why the discounts are high is Stampin' Up don't reintroduce the stamps once they've finished from a catalogue. So what they need to do is clear stock from the warehouse, ready for the next catalogue. I know in America a lot of the stamp sets would get potentially recycled. It's not necessarily worthwhile doing here in Europe because they need to get shipped back to America. The time you've done that, it costs money to do that. So what Stampin' Up do is they reduce the items, and the discount potentially reflects what they have in stock. So if there's no discount or very low discount, then the chances are there's not much of that item in stock. So we had this one here, all spruced up. The stamp set is £6.80 and the dies are £12, and the dies have all these lovely little outline images of the presents and the trees and the baubles and the snowflakes. So as well as cutting out the present, the candy cane, and these items here, and the snowflake and the little top of the bauble, you've got all of these little outline images that you can use. I think the presents would be perfect for anything, because you could just cut them out of designer paper as they've done here. Not sure if you can see that or not. So that's spruced up and the spruced up outline dies. You could get both of those together for £18.80. And that could really set you off ready for your Christmas cards for next year. Okay, we're on to page 14, and the reindeer and the reindeer dies are carrying over, so they will be available after the end of December. Then we've got Mistletoe Magic. I do rather like this set. You've got Mistletoe Magic stamp set, retired to £14.70, and then the mistletoe dies reduced to £11.60, and the dies obviously cut out these main images plus the bow, and they have a whole series of other smaller images and dots for the mistletoe that you can put together. So the stamp set is called Mistletoe Magic. That's on page 15. I'm hoping we don't come to an abrupt halt like we did earlier today twice. So this is Santa's delivery. So the papers are retiring. They're down to £4.50. The memories are more cards and envelopes, so if you like to do scrapbooking or you'd like to create a whole stack of easy cards next year, the card pack is £4.50 and the cards and envelopes are £4.10. So for £8.60 you can have 20 card bases, 20 envelopes and 54 double-sided cards. There are some little iridescent adhesive back stars, and then we also have the trim and the charming landscape embossing folders. Now you really can't see those, you'd have to look in the catalogue or in the embossing folders section at the back. This is on page 17. And then if we look at the bundle itself, that is also retiring. Hopefully you can see that fairly well. Let me know if you can't. So we've got the stamp set is now down to £16.80. And then the Santa's train dies, and if that cuts out the train, as you can see, from the stamped images but also from the papers, and the dies are now just £12. And these samples here are from the card pack, which is also on sale. So that's on page 18. Do let me know if you need me to go back and cover anything again. Obviously you can flip back through this video when it's finished. So Joyful Flurry, the stamp set with the snowflakes, is retiring and down to £8.40, and the Frosted Flurry dies, which do a series of embossing and die cutting. They do cut out some of these snowflakes as well, the stamped images, and the dies are now £22.40. So for £30.80 you can have the bundle of stamps and dies. Okay, page 18. The sweet gingerbread. So if you like creating little houses, this would be a great one also for if you have family that move home quite frequently. You could create this as a new home card. Obviously it's got some Christmas sentiments on there as well. But the stamp set is now £6.80, and the gingerbread house dies, which consist of a lovely fencing, some trees, clouds, the house outline and some hills, as you can see on here. The gingerbread house dies are down to £12.40. So again, £19.20 would get you the bundle of the stamps and the dies. That's on page 20. And then page 21 we have the gold holly leaves. They've retired, or they will be retiring as of tonight. And then the handmade wishes is £8.40, and this design here coordinates with the handmade tag punch. And then you've got other sentiments, so handmade, baked for you, from and to, with love. We've got a Merry Christmas, and then we've got some little icons here, gingerbread man, a tree, holly and the like. So that's handmade wishes. And then on page 22, and funnily enough, this is what we're using at Coffee and Card, one of the sets we're using at Coffee and Card, I should say, on Friday. We used it today, and Monday is Penguin Place. And this stamp set was bought back in from last year, and it's now down to £6.80. And the punch that goes with it, that punches out the penguin and his feet and his body, is £7.20. So for £14 you can have this Penguin Place stamp set and the punch. So if you've got young crafters in your house, or youngsters that are part of a group, this could be a great purchase for them, ready to do some Christmas cards next year. So that's Penguin Place. And then we're on to page 23, Merriest Moments. That's retiring, and that stamp set is priced at £14.70. And there is a hybrid embossing folder that does the embossing and cuts out the detail. You can just see the corner of it here. So it cuts out sort of an oblong in the middle. And that is now £14.80. And you've got some lovely poinsettia and holly leaves, and they also match the dies that are with the embossing folder. So boughs of holly. These papers were probably one of my most sold papers from this catalogue, and that is the boughs of holly. And you've got poinsettias, you've got trees, you've obviously got holly, and a nice mix of colours. Perfect Christmas papers, to be honest. And then the stamp set is retiring, leaves of holly, but is not discounted. The holly berry dies are slightly discounted. Oh, hi Kate, I hope you're well. Thanks for joining us. The little textural elements are carrying over, but this nice ribbon, a natural woven ribbon, is discounted down now to £3 for 5 yards. So the designer series paper, the stamp set and the dies are all going. So this is page 25. Page 26, again, this was a popular one, especially with Coffee and Card. We use it at Coffee and Card quite a few occasions. So Jingle 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 is reduced to £8.40. It really is nice, Catherine. It's a nice light ribbon as well. It doesn't add any weight or thickness. So Jingle Jingle Jingle, £8.40 now. And that's got 18 stamps, and I have plenty of samples of that. If you look back through the photographs here or my YouTube, you will see plenty of samples with that. And then we've got the Decorated with Happiness bundle. So this has got a whole series of baubles, bells. Well, I guess they're all different types of baubles that you'd hang on a tree. So you've got the stamp set here with a sort of hand-drawn look. And then you've got the dies that coordinate with these where you can see them. But also they have the outlines of the baubles. Not only these ones here, but 3 additional ones. And then just see them in the corner, the little jingle bell trinkets that we used on one of the cards somewhere along the line. Those are reduced to £2.80. Okay, so that's page 27. So page 28, Christmas Barn. With the horse and the sleigh, the fence and the barn. The stamp set is retiring but not reduced, and the dies are reduced to £12.40. Got a nice little wreath, and I like the way actually that they've done this card. I haven't really spotted that before. Just goes to show, doesn't it? If you can see that one there with all the little wreaths stamped and cut out. Okay, so that's page 28. Page 29, Family and Friends is retiring but not discounted. The lovely painted Christmas designer series papers that returned from last year. They're all reduced. All the standard papers reduced to £4.50. And that's got holly, it's got pine cones, it's got trees. Really pretty. I didn't use that again this year because we'd used it for a class last year. Okay, so the lights aglow. The main stamp set is going through, so I'll talk through that on the next page. The ribbon is carrying over, and those lovely festive pearls, some of my favourites, they are carrying over. And then the glimmer specialty paper, that's this one here. She says, yes, evening evergreen, very vanilla and gold, that is retiring. That's 6 12 by 12 sheets, £3.80. And then the festive foils, 6 12 by 12 sheets. These are the foiled papers that I use on a couple of the samples. They're really pretty. And then the lights aglow 6 by 6 papers. These are the specialty papers that are gold embossed, and they're reduced to £5.60. So this is all on page 31. And then just in detail, the Christmas lights and the twinkling light dies are retiring, but the brightest glow, which is the stamp set with all of those sentiments, that's carrying over. But the lights, labels aglow dies are retiring. That's the dies that had, if you came to Let's Get Creative, it's the set that Lynn used for all her cards. So that's on page 33. I wonder if I've lost anybody yet. Okay, page 34, the fun Christmas Scotty. He's retiring, he's not discounted, but the punch that goes with him is discounted to £7.20. So if you bought the stamp set but maybe didn't want to buy the punch at the time, then the punch is reduced to £7.20, but they're both retiring. Hopefully you can see that okay. And then on page 35, this is one of the very first stamp sets I bought and used. It's called Seal of Approval, and it features these lovely 2 stamps with distinctive seals on. They really do stamp beautifully. You just need a grey ink, oh thanks Kate, or light blue ink. They really are stunning. And although there is a little bit of a Christmas theme going on, I think you could use these at any time. So you've got my seal of approval, warm wishes, and then you've got for wonderful granddaughter, a terrific grandson. You could use those at any time. Hope your Christmas makes a big splash, obviously Christmas related. And then here together or miles apart, you're always there in my heart. And there are some little treat bags that go with this suite. The treat bags are also retiring. So the seal of approval stamp set is now £9.20. So this is page 35. Page 36. is the Window Wishes stamp set and the window dies. If you like creating scenes, this is a great set to use. So you've got houses, you've got trees, you've got cars, you've got candles, you've got a wreath in the middle there, and then you've got can't think what that is called, it'll come to me in a minute but that fits over the window die. And the window dies are reduced to £25.60 and the stamp set to £8.40. So you can have the whole set for £34. And there's some great samples on there as well of the houses. And the window has two sort of window frames that you can use. Great for shaker cards. Okay, that's page 36. Page 37, cheeky little cat and the cat and the dog. Great for a simple card, and other than a couple of sentiments really, these you could use these at any time, although I guess this is supposed to be mistletoe here underneath the over the cat, I should say, and then you've got the dog carrying the cat to the North Pole. So that's retired but not reduced, and then we have got some snowy white velvet sheets, 2 sheets of 12 by 12 reduced to £1.90. So again, if you have playgroups or children or grandchildren, great-grandchildren, the velvet paper always goes down well for punching out. Yeti to party, if you're into Yetis, wasn't my cup of tea, but that's reduced to £6.80 on the left. And then what looks like a small stamp, snow crystal, is actually nearly 4 inches high by just over 4.25 inches wide, 5 inches by 4.25, so a big stamp, and that's carrying over, so that will be available after the end of December. And then on page 39, this again was popular. I featured this as my stamp set of the week. I think it was only last week. So those have all been ordered. It's not discounted. It is retiring, but it's not discounted, so I can expect those to go out of stock very quickly. And then there was a sweet embossing folder with trees that I didn't purchase, but that is also retiring. It's a 3D embossing folder, and that's now down to £3.80. Okay, we're nearly halfway through. So page 40, Hope and Peace. All of those sentiment stamps, great for outside and inside of your cards. They're all carrying over. One that you'll want to watch, I suspect, is the Snowflake Vellum. Here on the left, and I've used that quite extensively at Coffee and Card. And this is now reduced to £3.80. You get 6 sheets, and they're 12 by 12. 2 each with 3 different designs, and one set of 3 is foil and the other set of 3 is white flocking. So that's definitely worth a look at if you like the snowflake and you like vellums. And then again, this was another really popular set. I featured it as my stamp set of the week. Peace to You, that is retiring. It's not discounted, so this will be your last opportunity to purchase it. The metallic and shimmer specialty paper is also reduced to £1.90, and that's 12 sheets for each of 3 different colour combinations, and they are 6 by 6, and you can see it in this sample here. It has a background colour and then it's embossed in gold, silver and a sort of copper Cajun craze colour. Okay, so page 42, the gnomes. So if you like your gnomes, I can tell you there is a new gnome stamp set in the January to April mini catalogue. It uses the same gnome dies, so the gnome dies are carrying over, but the kindest gnomes, so the Christmas gnomes, are being discontinued. The gnome papers are also being discontinued, retired, and these are the ones that have gnomes on one side but have these lovely patterns on the reverse that I've used for coffee and card, snowflakes, trees, and well, mostly snowflakes, to be honest. We also have some puff paint used with a heat tool that puffs it up. That's for sale at £1.70, and then the fine sparkle adhesive back gems, 4 different colours, that's reduced to £2.80. And then we've got the balmy blue double stitched ribbon. Oh, that's carrying over, I beg your pardon. So the gnome dies are carrying over, but the stamp sets are going. Okay, so that's on page 43. So I say there is a heads up with the gnome dies. They are carrying over and they will have a brand new stamp set in the January catalogue. Snowman Magic, he's featuring in our coffee and card on Friday in Brackley. A snowman, some scenery, some trees, a cute little rabbit, bird, holly, lots of little bits and pieces. And I love that there, I guess you can't see this, but there's 2 faces, so you can have the snowman facing left or facing right, whichever you prefer. And there are some dies that go with this that have a really pretty snowflake frame. I can just, if you can see that in the middle there, that's cut out in, looks like fresh freesia, and they've added a window sheet with embossed, looks like embossed or white stamped ink on the top. So that's page 44. The snowman dies are now £10.80, and the Snowman Magic is not reduced, so that's 17. And then on the right hand side, page 45, we have all bundled up 4 cute animals with scarves. We've got a bird, we've got the moose, a rabbit and a raccoon, and that is retiring but not discounted. There are some really pretty iridescent foil snowflakes, and they are £2.30, so less than half price, and you get 24 in a pack. Okay, that's the middle of the catalogue, so we're more than halfway, because towards the end I know we have all of the indexes. I'm really glad to see that this stamp set and the dies have carried over, because I've purchased this but I haven't used it yet. So that's on my list to use. Maybe I'll use that next week. So it's called Perched in a Tree. You've got a tree branch, you've got this beautiful bird that you could make into a robin, and then some nice sentiments, some nice spotty stamps there as well. And then it's got a beautiful set of dies that go with it called Aspen Tree Dies. You'll need to look on page 46 to see that in detail. So those are all carrying over. So there's no hurry, no mad hurry to buy those. And then Countless Trees. This is quite a difficult set to see because this is the size of the trees. But to fit them all on the page, they've scaled them down. So this is half the size of the actual trees that you can see here at the bottom. But the stamp set is just £8, and you can create all sorts of different trees. You can create topiary trees here as well, and obviously Christmas trees, palm trees, all sorts. And you've got various pots and foliage, and that is now just £8. So that's on page 47 of the mini catalogue. Okay, page 48, the rustic harvest set. So the pumpkin set, the harvest is it's called Hello Harvest, and its dies are retiring. We have some leaves and gems, so 25 leaves and 50 little gems. They're retiring. They're now £3. The Embossing Editions toolkit is carrying over, as you'd expect, which is the embossing body, the brushes, the tweezers, and the little, what they called it, powder pal. Is it? No, it's not. Yes, it is. And then the basic black 12 by 12 card is retiring, but no difference in price. And then that lovely rustic harvest paper, which has got black and white on one side, colours on the other. That, like the others, is £4.50. So that's page 49. So this is that one in detail. So the Hello Harvest stamp set is down to £8.80. And the pumpkin dies that go with it are £12. So for £20.80 you can have the whole bundle. And then in the same style, we've got gathered wheat with this gorgeous wheat image here, and a whole series of dies that go with them. Those are also retiring. So we've got the stamp set is retiring but not discounted. The wheat dies are discounted to £11.60. Okay, so that's page 51. Page 52 is Fond of Autumn. I was very tempted with the stamp set, I have to say. I didn't buy it in the end, but I was very tempted. And the autumn bouquet dies that go with it. These dies have a lovely background design. You really need to look at page 52 of your catalogue in person to see that detail. And it also cuts out these elements here, and obviously the banner as well. So I just think that is so pretty. And it is, the dies are £13.20, and I believe that the stamp set is not discounted. So definitely, if you want any of the bundles, if they're not being carried over, in general it's best to buy them separately, because the discount of the separate items is higher than the discount for the bundles together, as a general rule. If in doubt, just ask me. Okay, soft seedlings and painted pheasant are both retiring. I've used both of those. Used this one. I think both these just online actually. I don't think I used them for coffee and card. I know soft seedlings was popular. And those are both retiring. And then in the background, not that you can see it particularly well, is the leaf fall embossing folder with the pictures of the tiny leaves across it. That is carrying over, but these two stamp sets are retiring. Okay, that's page 53. Page 54 is Apple Harvest, and this is carrying over. I do know that the dies that were brought out to go with this are going on sale as of tomorrow as well. So I don't know if you remember the Perfect Partners programme that had think it was 5 different stamp sets that they brought dies out. Those are all being discounted, the dies that went with those. So watch out for that information too. And then we have the black and white designs paper. This is 12 by 12 paper. If you like black and white, that could be for you. Now £4.50. And then Best Witches is retiring, but no price difference. And then the little treat bags that I mentioned earlier, there's a little picture of one in there. The Stars treat bags, they're retiring at £3.80. Great for party favours and general little gift bags that you can stamp on. You can also spritz with ink if you want to. That's page 55. And then we have some Halloween sets. So Scary Cute and Scary Silhouettes, they're both retiring. Scary Cute, I believe, is not discounted, but the dies are. And the easiest way to check on any discounts and availability is if you go online to stampinup.co.uk, or you use my link shop now from geminicraft.co.uk. If you put in the item number from the catalogue, and you do this after midnight tonight, it will tell you if there's a sale price that will come up automatically. And if you put it in and it says there's no such item, that means that that item has already sold out. Okay, right, Bewitching bundle and the Witch's Hat Punch, they're both retiring, as is that lovely glitter washi tape. 4 rolls of narrow tape, and all of the 4 colours are all glitter tape. So if you like your washi tape and you like a bit of glitter, that could be a good bargain. £3.40 for the whole set. The Witch's Hat Builder Punch is £7.20. So if you've got people that like witches, or again you've got a youth group maybe that you plan to do something with for Halloween or anything, or you've got children who are into witches of any kind, then that could be a good set with the punch to purchase. So that's page 57. And then 59 is the cottage wreaths. Now the stamps are carrying over and the dies are carrying over, but not the bundle. So if you like those items, you can still get the bundle price at 10% off if you order that as of today. Oh, sorry, if you order that up until the end of December. The gingham papers that have got large and small gingham designs, gingham cottage, they are normally £28. It's a 48 sheet pack, and that's reduced to £11.20, and they are 12 by 12. And then we've got some silver threaded twine. So we've got twine with a little light silver thread running through it. That's ticked, so that's carrying over. And the enamel effect little bottles of red, black and white, it's more of a grey I would say, those are carrying over as well. So that's page 59. Hello Brenda, thanks for joining us. So if you want to go back through any of these, I will pop this back on Facebook, on YouTube shortly, and then you can skip through just to watch the bit that you've missed. So Brightest Beauty bundle is retiring. The stamp set is the same price, but the Golden Beauty dies that cut out this main image and this, there's got a really nice pretty label as well as some other elements. That is £9.60. It colours that, it cuts out all of these little berries. And then on page 61, the designer treat bundle. The stamp set is retiring and the designer treat box dies are retiring. And the treat box dies now allow you to create all these treat boxes with different characters. And so you've got antlers, for example, and it also includes numbers. So you could use it as an advent calendar, or you can use it for gifting for particular ages. We've also got the gold shimmer ribbon, reduced from £7.50 down to £3. So if you love gold ribbon, that's 10 yards worth. That's definitely worth a look at. There's a little bat there. Okay, so that's designer treats are on page 61. We're nearly there, I promise you. So we've got ringed with nature. That's carrying over. I'm really pleased about that because I've purchased it and I haven't done much with it. So this has got a nice poinsettia in here, and it's got the rings that coordinate with the hybrid embossing folder, and you've got a sweet little house as well. And then you've got little mushrooms, you can turn them into acorns, you've got a little heart and some flowers and berries. So those are carrying over. And then Vintage Christmas, that one is retiring. It's got the little vintage bottles and some flowers, and then these go around the outside, the foliage. That's retiring but not discounted. So that's on page 63, and that coordinates with the vintage bottle punch. So if you've got the bottle punch from the annual catalogue, that coordinates with that particular image there. Hopefully you can see that in the light. So Splendid Day, one of my favourite sets, I have to say. So all of these items are retiring. So we've got the Splendid Thoughts stamp set, we've got the Splendid Stems dies, we've got the little open leaf trinkets, which I happen to have some here. These ones here, like so. Those are discounted to £3. Got the soft sea foam ribbon, which I love too. That's also down to £3. And then my favourite element probably from this set is the Splendid Day Designer Series paper. This is now £5.60, and this is the one with all the foiling. Let me just see if I've got some to hand. Got a few sheets here. A few, it's these ones here that have got the, oh sorry, trying to keep it out of that light, the foil here, this one, that one in the soft sea foam, again with the detail on it, and let's see, champagne colour one, and this one here. I know you can't see them particularly well in this light, but if you like foiled papers, they're down from £14 to £5.60. And all of the papers in this catalogue are retiring, and from memory they're all discounted as well. So those are £5.60. That's on page 65. Page 66, this was the fun stamp set that we used at Coffee and Card. It's called Forever Friendship. It's got the cardigan with the sentiment. It's got the lovely little pots, rather slightly strange pennant or golf post here, and then the typewriter. And that is retiring. I love the samples here with the colouring on it. And then we've got Celebrating Tags dies. So the stamp set is the the stamp set is carrying over, which I'm pleased about because I haven't used this mitten and I think it's really cute. And then there are a series of tag dies that go with this. I don't know if you can see in here, there's a whole series of them. It's a very small picture obviously, but you've also got what I love about this set, as well as 2 different tags and labels that go with them. You've got a circle, you've got a balloon, and you've got candles that create a full candle, a back and a front if you like, stripy candles. So I definitely recommend that tag die set with the stamp set if you can. Okay, that's page 67. 68, the very best occasions as a sentiment set, which is carrying over, and retiring is the sun-kissed. This is the stamp set that has got the parasol and the deck chairs. It's got the palm trees, so very much designed for the South Pacific, where obviously they have an element of summer at this time of year. So it says sunny season's greetings, and that's it. So this goes on to talk about the bundles here. These are the celebration tags dies. So if you like tags and gift tags, I would definitely recommend the dies. And then the majority of these are also retiring, but I haven't written all of these down because I put them really in the main part of the catalogue. And that is it. So there's a lot that's retiring and a lot of really good discounts, so thank you Stampin' Up for that. So there is a last chance list, and I have edited this to take out the French, German and any Dutch stamp sets or dies that reflect those languages. So I will send out an email that has got this list and links to the retiring section of the website as soon as it goes live this evening. I wouldn't work on this list once the retiring list has come out, because this will not be updated. Okay, Stampin' Up don't update it, and I won't update it because things move very quickly. I don't expect to see any of the discounts change. I would say the majority of those discounts are 60%. Just from a quick glance down, there's a few at 40 and 30. And the odd one or two at 20%. If you want to check anything, the best thing to do is just enter the information on the website. If you want to place an order with me, then feel free to just email me an order. Email is the best method. You can message me on Facebook, but bear in mind that that can come through to Gemini Crafts. It might come through to my personal page, and it's very easy for those orders to go missing, because it's well, we all know Facebook has its moments. So if there is anything you want, preferably email me. You can also text me on my mobile if you have that information to hand. So that's the end of the retiring list. I'm very excited to say that coming soon will be our January to April mini catalogue. So one thing that demonstrators can do from this evening is order our catalogue, so I'll be doing that. And so if there's anything you require from the retiring list, especially if it's discounted, I will be ordering tonight at about 11 p.m, but more than likely again on probably on Friday. So if anything you particularly want, then your best bet is to place an online order, But if you're happy to take the risk for me to order it with my next order, then just send me some information and I'll be more than happy to help you. We do have a new joining offer coming up in January, but if you are interested in joining the team, one of the things you can do is you can create your starter kit using any of these items, including retired items, at their discounted price. So you can imagine what you would get for your £99 if you stocked up with retiring items, papers, etc. from this catalogue. So if you're spending more than £100, that is always the best way to do it, and that is join our team. There's no requirement to actually demonstrate, so don't worry about that. 80% of my team are team that enjoy the support and company of others in the crafting world and buy the products at a discount for their own use. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. 80% of all demonstrators worldwide probably fall into that category. So if that's of interest, let me know. You can join at any time, and if you're interested in the new joining offer, that will apply in January, and I'll be able to share details of that with you in due course. If you're on the verge of possibly joining, then by all means message me and I can tell you that information up front now, so you can make a decision whether to join now in December and take advantage of this plus your discount on top of that, or whether you want to wait and join in January. So thank you so much. Definitely time for me to finish. I've definitely gone on far too long. I'm pleased to see that Facebook didn't kick us off this time. So I will be back tomorrow. I have some more embossing folder techniques to do. I'm afraid we got kicked off again today with the two that we did, which I haven't quite finished because I've been out for the rest of the day. So I've got this one here, which is some using our Versamark ink onto our embossing folder. I got as far as the ribbon and it needs a sentiment on there, and also we did some partial embossing where you leave a gap in the middle. So if you missed those, you can catch those on Facebook now and YouTube shortly. Thank you so much for spending time with me this evening or whenever you were watching. Obviously the prices that I'm referring to here are all UK prices. If you're in Northern Ireland or Europe, there are Euro prices, and if that's of interest I can send you a price list with the euros in. So don't hesitate to ask if you need that information. So thank you so much. I'm going to sign off now, get this uploaded to YouTube. If you're on my email list, you will receive an email either late tonight or early in the morning with the links straight to the website, and that will give you the latest information and pricing of all the products that I've shown you. There's also a clearance rack update, so previously retired items drop into the clearance rack, so I will add a link onto there as well. Okay, thank you so much. Bye for now.